All right. Well, hold on. Sam. Okay, Sam. You did support your point of view with evidence. Ring the bell.
When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes.
Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic.
I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell.
Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken and snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, aka Deep Waters. Welcome to Conspiracy Social Club, aka Deep Waters, aka Highway to the Danger Zone. Touchy subjects. Guys, thank you guys so much.
You hear that danger zone?
Yeah, I love that about you.
Sorry, that's just an octave.
I love that about you.
Either way, buddy, where are you going to be? You going to be anywhere?
I got Reno this weekend. Then Dave's going to start putting together a nice little tour.
Reno where? Where in Reno?
A couple different places, bro.
All right,
I'm just running. I'm gunning. Don't worry about me.
All right, you're going to be at the theater
Don't worry about
in Reno.
me.
Then you're going to be in South 40. Look, Dad is going to be this weekend. You come out to South Florida. I'll be in Port Charlotte, the Visani Theater. Let's rock and roll.
You're doing great, bro.
And then I got the Stress Factory, and I'm back to November 11th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You're doing great.
I do all right, buddy.
You're doing
I'm
great.
the best I can.
Hey, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, could you hit the subscribe button, please? It's very weird. I'm convinced YouTube, which is already hurting for ad revenue, okay, is fucking with us. But damn it. Can you beep that? Damn it. Anyways, Brian, I miss you.
Miss you too, buddy. Miss you too. A lot going on in the world.
A lot of craziness going on in the world.
A lot going on in the world. Sometimes I wonder if I'm being psyopted, but then I realize that I'm not, because there is a whole bunch of. I think with every reaction, there's action. There's a reaction.
Well, Brian, you find me in a day where I have come, based on conversations I've recently had, I've come to believe that everything culturally is an intelligence operation. That's what I believe. If you're asking me.
I like that. You let that sit.
Yeah.
Sam, please explain. Please expand.
Well, the more and more, so we have this big episode about to drop on Tinfoil Hat. It's our big 6-6. It drops. By the time you hear this, it'll be today, I believe. When does this drop? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Today.
Okay, so it'll be tomorrow, and it gets into how all these gifted programs that we have in schools were basically intelligence data. Collections on who could thrive and who's smart, who fits the characteristics they're looking for, and then you start to get into.
Can I stop you?
No, you cannot. I'm on a roll. Okay, I'm rolling, bro.
Go on.
Is it all right? Dude, give me that yellow card. It's
No. That's nuts.
Go on. Keep going.
So that's where we're at. I'm just telling you, that's where I am right now. That like things happen naturally. Like obviously the black community are like, we are not getting treated equal. We have the right to be treated equal. And when this movement grows, intelligence agencies come in, insert limited hangouts to basically co-opt the movements. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So where's that bring us to? I'm not going to get lost in that every day I turn on the news, there's another crisis going on that raises my anxiety, has me freak out, get mad at people I don't even know. They
take like hard cases that happen somewhere and then they
blow them up. Yeah. Like we've talked about, like Libs of TikTok amplifies accounts you would never hear of if it wasn't for Libs of TikTok.
Yeah. Like Fox will say, this kid wore a T-shirt that said there are only two genders, and he was asked to go home.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell?
Hey!
But then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm being psyopted here.
Exactly.
But I don't think that's the intelligence community.
No, that is.
No, I think that's the media that makes money off of sensationalist stories.
So, Brian, would you say that based on 230-something episode, I don't even know what episode this is, that we haven't somewhat established that the media is a mouthpiece for the intelligence community?
No, 100% it's not.
Okay, well
that's an adorable. That's one of the more adorable. It really is adorable. It's one of the more adorable.
I mean, we've had fun conversations about this.
No, it's an adorable talking point that you have, as usual, glommed onto. And I don't want to use the word
glommed. Is that a word, by the way?
Yeah,
glommed?
great word. Glommed.
It is.
Yeah,
It is a great word.
But is there a
Sorry.
word for when you get glued to it? The way you know how a fly gets caught in a trap.
Brian, is it weird that we've had a battle of wits that my record is a winning record?
Well, no.
Yeah, I'm illiterate, and you know words like glom.
Well, no, I know. And I allow you once again. I always come to this knife fight with nothing but my fists. I always fill your artillery with heavy modern day shells, and I'm still sitting around on my horse with my recurve bow, okay? With my recurve bow.
Okay.
And I enjoy dashing about in the woods.
What are you, the last Mohegans?
Yes.
You're just running around scalping dudes?
I'm not going to come here. I'm not even going to come here with an old-fashioned 6-shooter on each hip, because we know how that would end. You don't want me to bring in the big guns, because let's be serious. So allow me to romance your adorable theory.
Okay.
What you have to understand, Sam,
Yeah.
is that the technology and also the news organization and human beings realized there was much money to be had by atomizing the news and creating info.
Is that a word?
Sure. And creating infotainment.
Yeah.
And also, when 60 Minutes, there's the great famous story, the producer of 60 Minutes came in and said, great news, and good news, bad news. Very good news, terrible news.
Okay.
Very good news is we crushed the ratings last night with our 60-minute segment.
Yeah.
This is before news organizations ever looked at ratings, ever.
Yeah.
And he said, and the terrible news is that we crushed all expectations with our ratings. And what that meant was they were able to sell crazy advertisement, and now everybody was like, hey, we want to sell our stuff.
Real quick, Dylan, can you get a counter so we can start counting how many times Bryan Callen tells that story?
I know.
Can we get a counter on that?
Too many times. Too many times. But
people at home are mouthing it with you.
No, but it's really
That's your
hard
Neil Diamond.
Well, BuzzFeed News is now no longer.
Yeah.
And it's because they couldn't make enough money. And
is that why, Brian?
Well, yeah. It just ended up being not as profitable.
It had nothing to do with them. And again, Brian, let's get into my point.
Yep.
Do you think BuzzFeed is done because they weren't making money, or because they were outed for basically being a part of a intelligence operation to establish ties between a presidential candidate and a foreign government? Do you think, in which the person who ran BuzzFeed News put out an op-ed piece in, I believe, the New York Times, saying yes, he knew it wasn't real and he would still put it out today? Do you believe that? Which one do you think? Is it lack of ads off their pie chart articles? What? How's that yellow card?
Well, I want to take a timeout.
I would like to say I
honestly don't know why that is a yellow.
Okay, the only reason it's yellow card is I would like for Dylan now to please investigate and verify what Johnny Loose Lips just said.
Yeah. Now, speaking of loose lips, in order to investigate, we'll need to eliminate some of the vagaries. So if you could just expressly state what that story was.
What, the BuzzFeed story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, John McCain, who helped create ISIS, we all know that, we've established on the show many times. We've established it. John McCain, Hillary, Obama. We saw he died, right? That whole cheerleading. Okay.
Yep.
So what happened was that Hillary, and Dylan, could you please check this up, because this is my problem with Bill Maher. Is as great as Bill Maher sometimes gets, he goes fully stupid on other points. Like, he's still doing jokes about Russian collusion, by the way. Bill Maher. It's like, get out of your ivory tower and understand that Hillary Clinton was, in fact, Bryan, recently fined for funding the dossier. We know that, right? We know that. You know that. Recently fined for.
She wasn't, but
Nope. She was, Bryan. She was.
Whoa.
Nope. There's
Write
no
that down.
whoa-who's on that.
Right.
There's no whoa-who's on.
Whoa,
What?
Write
No,
that down
come
too.
on,
Write
dude.
that down to make sure that's. I want to check that too.
Why?
I want to check
Why
these
is that
facts
a yellow card?
because you throw a lot of facts around, and I need.
Thank you, bro.
I need to-
Hey, can I clip that? Can you clip that?
You throw a lot of
facts
pseudo
around.
facts around that
That's
I have
gonna be
no
my
idea are
ringtone
true.
when Bryan calls me. It's gonna say you throw a lot of facts around.
That's a fan fact, and fan facts are what his fans.
So Bryan.
facts.
So as we know, established, well known. It's almost even funny that I have to even talk about this because this shit is so well known.
Sure.
It's probably tattooed on a bunch of people. It's so established, right? That John McCain took the dossier, which was funded by Hillary Clinton, and she paid a fine for it, and handed it to Buzzfeed News, in which they ran it.
Yes.
So these are facts,
Yes.
right?
BuzzFeed News is trash,
Right.
and they're sensational.
But the argument that we're having, do you remember the argument that we're having? The argument is
that they
whether
went
BuzzFeed
under
shut
'cause-
down because lack of ads or the fact that they were an operation. There we
DNC
go.
Clinton campaign agreed to steal dossier funding fine. Yes. So there's no doubt
hold
that her
on, Bryan,
campaign, but she herself wasn't.
What?
But I believe she knew. I think she's awful.
Bryan, what are you saying there?
Well, her campaign was
He
fine.
doesn't even mean to say that.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean to. He doesn't mean that. He doesn't mean that. He can't mean that.
Saying crazy stuff right now, okay?
I like that she was fined, that the campaign was fined.
Okay. So that's why BuzzFeed News is no longer with us, because they annihilated what little credibility their pie chart news
yeah, but
had.
people were I don't see what BuzzFeed, what was their revenue? I think that they weren't making the kind of money because of that kind of behavior. People were like, I'm not going to listen to this
Okay,
anymore.
that was a weird way.
Right?
Yeah. So that's basically it.
But that's probably what happened.
But
right?
but this goes back to our original thing, is that the media is a mouthpiece for the intelligence agencies. That's what we've established.
But the media is so the media is the media, right? The media is something that makes money and gives us the news. Sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's not good news, sometimes it's sensationalist news.
Right.
The intelligence communities may use the existing avenues of communication to manipulate or push forward certain narratives, right? They do that in other countries, and maybe they do it in this country, right? But I don't think that the CIA or the intelligence community is not hijacking all of BuzzFeed. That's not why they got. It's really money and commerce and the marketplace that says BuzzFeed sucks.
Yeah, but BuzzFeed's credibility crashes and burns once they put out something, and that a large segment of society knew was BS.
BuzzFeed is shutting down what remains of its award-winning news department, signaling the end of an era for a website that once posted promised to upend the industry. Let me see. Go back, please, so I can read it.
Well, I wanted to get to a specific portion where he said that he regretted not focusing on profitability.
Yes. So founder Josh Peretti told staff on Thursday that the company can no longer continue to fund BuzzFeed News and would be looking to make substantial redundancies across the company. He said the whole company had been hit by the pandemic, a troubled stock market listing, a tough economy, a declining stock market, a slowdown in digital advertising, which is really it, and changing audience habits. Wow. Yeah, Peretti suggests that there may not be a sustainable business model for high-quality online news. He wrote, "I made the decision to overinvest in BuzzFeed News because I love their work and mission so much. This made me slow to accept that the platforms wouldn't provide the distribution or financial support required to support premium free journalism purpose-built for social media." So it sounds to me like the business model kind of failed. It's not that the CIA was involved. That's just like a businessman
this becomes the credibility of BuzzFeed
I don't
News.
think that's what sank them. I don't. I think what sank them was it's a really hard, it's a hard thing to do, isn't it? Isn't it a hard thing to
Okay.
pull off? But you know what I'm saying though?
Correspondence inclusion between the New York Times and CIA. I mean, dude, it's like, Bryan, I mean, we're talking crazy right here. Like, it's like the fact that you don't, I mean, we can get into so much stuff that I want to talk about. Like, in the fact that, again, we have, I mean, I've been devastated and rocked this weekend, even though he'd lost a lot of credibility during COVID for me. But Noam Chomsky, are we getting into that?
Yeah, let's get into it.
And like what we talked about here before, which was Operation Long Leash.
But wait, Sam, before you go bad on Noam Chomsky,
What?
I know people who met with Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein wanted to know more about science.
Right, Bryan.
So you can't like,
Yeah, but Bryan.
just because somebody meets with him doesn't mean he's a pedophile.
Bryan, if you know somebody if you don't know somebody's a serial killer,
Yeah.
and then you meet with them, you have plausible deniability, right? You could say, I didn't know he was a serial killer at that time.
Yes.
If somebody is convicted of serial killing,
Yes.
and you meet with them,
Yes.
for the purpose of just a fun chat,
Yep.
like you know what you're doing, right?
You do, but here's the problem. I'm not so sure when he registered as a sex offender. I'm not so sure.
But he had already been convicted of shady shit with minors.
Yes, but I don't know. I really don't think that the people meeting with him, because this was a long time ago, I don't think they knew that. There's a good chance a lot of people just didn't know that. That was something that was kept under wraps. Nobody follows these things. So all of a sudden you have some guy named Jeffrey Epstein who wants to meet you. He's this big financier.
So what you're saying right now, Bryan,
Yeah.
out loud to other people, is that these people did not know Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Negotiate a plea deal in which Donald Trump was asked to testify. Basically, he's the only one that agreed to go and for a deposition.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
Well, I'm saying
so
it's
you're
possible,
saying that
it's possible that not everyone knew about it. That's all I'm saying. When did this happen? When did he have to register as a sex offender?
I think 2008, 2007, 2008.
So it's possible that the iPhone came out in 2007. So we have to be careful about how much information we know everything now. In 2007, actually, when the iPhone was just introduced, we didn't know that much. People didn't, you weren't able to really just go to Google like that. And people didn't go to Google as much. It wasn't like, I have a meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, let me make sure he's not a sex offender. You were able to keep a lot of the shit under wraps. So I don't think that when you're a busy person and you have a meeting with somebody who's this really rich person that seems to be running with all the people.
So Bryan, so you're saying there was no internet before 2007?
There was
Is that
internet.
what you're saying out loud to other people?
No, there was internet, but
always remind me
people
to have
didn't
my smiley face when I'm
People
debating.
didn't have this information.
Yeah?
I don't know that you would have known that. I think it was very easy to keep your sex offenses secret when you had a plea deal that was probably sealed.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think that you were probably able, under his...
So Bryan, if you're, let's say, a clerk at 7-Eleven who has he's a registered sex offender, you might be able to get away with nobody knowing that. You go to work, you mind your business, you go home, not saying you're a good guy or anything.
I actually think you can get away with it
But what you're saying is billionaire mogul New York City real estate guy who has the most expensive property in New York City was flying under the radar that someone like Noam Chomsky, who is a politically savvy man and knows all things about intelligence and the media and all that stuff, didn't know that? Is that what you're telling me?
I think it's very, very possible. Because I think that the way you got... So my buddy met with him. My buddy Eric met with him. And Eric didn't know what the fuck was... Eric was just asked...
What's Eric do?
Eric Weinstein. Eric's a professor. You know, Eric's a mathematician.
Yeah.
So Eric was like with his wife. His wife was a professor at Harvard at the time. And Eric was asked to...
How many times did Eric meet with him?
Just once. So
okay.
Eric...
Dude, Noam Chomsky met with him many times.
But wait, so I'm going to tell you something that's interesting. So Eric was like, I don't know who this guy is, some really rich guy. So he goes to this house in New York City. He's like, Jesus, what is this house, right? And he goes and he has this meeting, and the guy's asking him, actually, Eric said, pretty high level questions about science, actually, in math, really high level. Now, Eric's like, this is very strange because the guy's a trader, but he seems to have good questions, right? Then this girl comes out, this young girl, really hot, and sits on his lap for a second. He introduces her, and Eric's like kind of a nerdy guy, and Eric's like, all right, hi, how are you? So he leaves. I think they had lunch or something at this house. He leaves, and he looks at his wife when he told me the story. He goes, what did I say? And his wife said, you said the man's a construct. And he goes, and I said, what do you mean? He goes, he's a construct. Whatever he said he was, he wasn't. And those questions he was asking were not for his own edification. So as far as Eric was concerned, there's no doubt he was an intelligence asset of some kind.
Right.
Right? So...
Will you look at Noam Chomsky's actual quote?
Right. So my
because
guess,
at no point does Noam Chomsky say what you're saying right now, which would be a logical excuse, being like, I met with him once.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was.
Right.
You know what his answer was?
What?
It's none of your business.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So,
but I don't think Noam Chomsky. See, I mean, sometimes that stuff can be embarrassing, right? You find out later on that this dude, like, it's almost like this. You're like, wait, what was he? I don't think people knew about Jeffrey Epstein.
Manufacturing consent.
Yeah.
Changed the way I looked at the media.
Yes.
Okay. I make no illusions of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I grew up like, Requiem for American Dream, right? I mean, that's an incredible movie. I mean, it's amazing. There's like Noam Chomsky has been very much like nailed it
prescient,
on so many different,
prescient, yeah.
Right?
I like.
But it's like it's still when you go back. What?
I said prescient. He's prescient. He's kind of like
you guys use words I do not know.
He's kind of like prophetic. He can see the future.
Okay.
It's foresight. And then, when you were talking about him being glued to stupidity, earlier, you could use the word affixed, or vegged.
Or what?
Vegged.
Vegged?
Yeah. I could be
vegged.
Yeah. I could be vegged.
Vegged sounds like a gay slur.
Yeah.
No.
About vegan gay guys?
No, it's VEGGED. But Noam Chomsky's response to these inquiries was, first response is that it is none of your business or anyone. Second is that I knew him and we met occasionally.
I met occasionally. Like, that's a little more than once or twice.
But again, he met a lot of people.
Brian, so this is my whole thing. Chomsky was part of Operation Long Leash, which was the CIA funded the counterculture movement in America, including political dissidents.
Sam, this is where I have to stop you.
No, you
just
don't.
Made a statement. Your Honor, he just made a statement.
Yeah, that's
Noam
logical
Chomsky,
and real.
No, I promise you. Yeah. Noam Chomsky.
Brian,
is not the CIA's.
We've already discussed this.
Noam Chomsky is not the CIA's errand boy.
Yeah.
Noam Chomsky is not the CIA's errand boy. Noam
Chomsky, a bad man. Noam Chomsky right now.
If Noam Chomsky,
we've already discussed this.
If the CIA came to Noam Chomsky and said, "Do this, that, and the other thing," if it wasn't something he
Brian,
totally agreed with, he would have been like, "Fuck
how
off."
It works. You really don't, Brian.
What's Operation Long Leash?
Okay, Brian, you just don't know how they do it.
Your Honor, can I get some information on Operation Long Leash?
Yeah, I mean, it's the operation intended to subvert the Soviet system of artistic sanctions and government censorship.
That's not bad. Why is that bad? They were sanctioning their artists.
No, Brian, but you haven't even let him get into it. And by the way, we've already discussed this. Can I get a senior moment with Brian Callen, please?
So Noam Chomsky was part of Operation Long Leash. I would have been too, but keep going.
Okay, bro.
Everything the CIA is everything that the CIA does. Is it all bad and against
Brian,
the American people?
that's the real discussion.
Let's get into that.
That's the real discussion.
I mean, there are a lot of patriots in the CIA and good people.
But, Brian, it's like, is intelligence our friend, or is it here to keep us kind of confined to a certain area?
Well, intelligence might be necessary because it's a part of warfare.
Okay.
And the question is the United States under threat always. From industrial espionage? So I got a question.
Okay.
You have companies in this country.
Yeah.
That like Apple and all kinds of different companies, car companies, that work very, very hard on proprietary technology.
Okay.
On technology that they can sell to consumers.
Okay.
Because it's very competitive.
All right.
How do you ensure, and that foreign intelligence bodies aren't going to steal that proprietary technology and give it to their industries? Because that's always the case. So industrial espionage is a very big thing. We do it.
Yeah.
The Germans do it on us.
Yeah.
Everybody does
The
it.
Israelis do it.
Everybody does
Israelis
it. Right? Everybody
do it.
does it. So how do you ensure that is protected?
What?
And then how do you ensure
intellectual property?
Yeah. And then how do you stop various enemies of your country from conspiring to cause great harm, weaken your country? So I think that intelligence is important because it's part of warfare. It's part of the game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That is the thing. So a lot of those people are doing things like are obsessing over a group of people called Al-Qaeda.
Don't.
Well, I speak Arabic.
Brian, do you jerk off to Tom Clancy novels?
Sam, Tom Clancy was actually part of the intelligence community for a while. So mind your P's and Q's.
I mean, really, you just must slow stroke it with every page.
Sam, when I read them, it makes me ready for what's coming.
Would you refute that Jackson Pollock was a CIA funded artist?
Would you, Brian? That's a yes or no question.
So Jackson Pollock was a very volatile, talented, groundbreaking artist.
Right.
Jackson Pollock was obsessed with being a very, very a groundbreaking artist. It's all he thought about.
Right.
And he had a 6-year run that was nothing short of astonishing.
Right.
And I never used the word astonishing, but it was astonishing. If you know anything about fractals, and neither one of you infants do, he was able to capture that. He was able to capture that in his incredible work. Now,
Brian, how's it feel to get mobbed by a guy who flunked first grade?
Now, did the CIA finance him? Adorable. Did somebody in the CIA buy some paintings? Maybe. But no, he was not a
Brian, let me ask you something.
CIA-funded artist.
Brian, okay. I want to play this game called Brian. I want you to pretend like you're the CIA. Okay.
First of all, you don't know what the CIA is.
Okay, Brian, real quick, just for the fun of the show. Let's do something fun on the show, Brian.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do. I want you to, we're going to role play here, okay?
Yes.
You play the CIA, all right? And I'm an artist that in this scenario, you want to push forward into like a limited hangout kind of way. How do you think the CIA approaches me, but not only approaches me, but like what they do for me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you get this? I want to see how you, in this scenario, what do you think the CIA's role is? How do they manipulate me to do their stuff in your head? Can we do that? Does that make any sense?
It's a very, very convoluted improv scene, but I think that we should go ahead and say scene.
My guess is that, and I don't think they do anything like what you're talking about.
Okay, but let's just say they do, because what you believe, Brian, when we discuss this, is you believe that the CIA comes down, sits somebody down, and goes, "Do this, do this, do this. Now go." That's what you believe they do.
No, I think the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, which is a massive bureaucracy, which for the most part, most of its energy, I think, is devoted to probably analyzing data and information.
Okay.
That's probably, there's a cross-coordination with other intelligence agencies like the NSA, I'd imagine. And they assess foreign threats. They their mission, by and large, is the national security of the United States.
Okay, all right.
To protect it from foreign actors with bad intent, and to also probably spy on all countries,
your belief
including
is
our allies.
that the intelligence agency's whole job is to police in a weird way, FBI in America,
yes,
CIA outside America,
yes,
and their job is not to protect the establishment's interests. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. So the CIA will, but I do think that what happens is that the CIA might see influence and ideas that are a threat to the national security of the United States, and then somehow try to figure out how to win, how to push back on the narrative that is gaining traction that could be deemed harmful.
Oh, wow, this is perfect. Can you read this, Bryan? It's about the CIA capitalizing on modern American art during the Cold War.
Yeah, it's called Operation Long Leash. Will you read this?
You see, on the other side of the planet, the Russian style of choice was socialist realism, which depicted accurate, politically tinted scenes of home life, productive countrysides, and such. It's a beautiful school in its own right, but a pretty enormous distance from the uncaged, violently individualistic monster of American modern art at the time. So what better way to win some communist hearts and minds than by impressing them with the liberated power of abstract expressionism? The CIA wanted this art to be global, so it dumped millions upon millions of dollars to be a secret patron of art world darlings like Pollock. Fake foundations used as CIA slush funds sponsored international exhibitions. Former CIA operative Tom Braden says it was pretty easy to wedge your way into the art world when you were packing government cash. We would go to somebody in New York who is a well-known rich person, and we would say, we want to set up a foundation. We would tell him what we were trying to do and pledge him to secrecy, and he would say, of course, I'll do it. And then you would publish the letterhead, and his name would be on it, and there would be a foundation. It was a pretty simple device. This technique, called long leash operations, kept the CIA in the shadows as it sponsored massive organizations like the Congress for Congressional Freedom. Keep going. Hold on.
Keep going.
Which had offices in 35 countries and organized historic exhibitions of abstract expressionist art in cities across Europe. The works were to form a psychological blockade against communist artistic influence. Look at us. We make great art. Each superpower shouted back and forth. All right. Well, hold on. Sam? Okay, Sam. You did support your point of view with evidence. Ring the bell.
Oh, God.
Ring the bell,
best
Sam.
part of that is I win this argument all the time. I'll wait 3 episodes and we'll have the argument again, and I'll win it again. It's awesome. It is Groundhog's Day. This is the best.
The CIA is definitely responsible for pushing American artistic supremacy.
Okay, cool. So now, can we get into the Fugees thing that we were talking about? Well, I mean, no. Should we finish? So Chomsky was part of that.
You talking about this? I am so sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know. That was
Because there was a poltergeist that took over my computer.
That was pretty profound.
For a
that the
short
CIA
second.
plays that big a role in the artistic expression.
Bryan,
of
I'm
Americans.
trying to tell
I'm
you.
highlighting it.
I get
Pushing it.
this.
You're
That's
saying
hard
it's
for you to
pushing it
understand.
forward. It highlights one. It puts money behind what it considers to be something that would make American art look better than Soviet art.
So if let's say that you really want to push, right, that left-handed people are wizards, okay? Let's just say that's, for some reason, the intelligence community...
A lot of pedophiles are left-handed. Keep going.
Okay, which would make sense why they'd want to push them to forward, because the intelligence agencies protect pedophiles. But as we move forward...
Now freeze.
Okay, what?
Here's
What?
actually where we will dilate.
What?
So my problem is that your idea is that when the CIA does this, their purposes are nefarious. Their
Yeah.
purposes are malcontented, right? Like they're not good. Like they're not trying to do the best thing for the country, right? Or that their mission statement is somehow to destroy the United States. That's where I have a problem.
Well, I think what their job is to create division, so nobody can really focus on what is really going on, which is that the elite banking cartels are using our military as stormtroopers to destabilize the rest of the world. And that through division and cultural fighting, nobody will ever focus on that. So as you and I focus on that, some kid got suspended because he wore a shirt that said there's only two genders, and we're not looking at all the stuff that we're doing to the rest of the world and basically stealing their natural resources and committing genocide in the Middle East.
What
Tucker
Carlson was saying. Tucker Carlson was saying that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and the corporate media are all one monolith, and they are just here to distract you while we have real problems in the world.
Right.
Like the real problems are not some kid wearing there are two genders. The real problems are not non-binary people. And I want to come up. I want to. There's another current event I want to talk about, but the idea is we have real problems, and we're told to look over here.
Yeah.
We're spending all our time over here when the real problems are over here.
Yep.
And
Like
how much
Bryan.
of that though is how much of that is the fact that it's really easy to simplify a problem and really hard to get into the nitty gritty. You know, John McWhorter was talking about, like, when you think about the civil rights movement, you think about those amazing speeches. I have a dream. What actually made the difference was the unsexy work of rolling your sleeves up, sitting in a dark room, and coming up with like the nuances of legislation that made an actual difference. That's not sexy. You can't make a movie about let's read this brief and try to figure out a way to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes I wonder if it's really hard to sell the truth, because the truth is complicated.
We've gotten to the truth hurts. It's hurting people.
It's a Lizzo song.
Does it? Is it? I don't know. So I saw this video. Did I send it to you about this guy's interviewing this woman, and he goes, "Who's the worst president, Trump or Biden?" And she starts out going, "They're both bad."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, this might be an interesting man on the street." And then she goes, "But if I had to choose, it's Trump." And he goes, "Why?" And she just starts to melt down. "What do you mean, why?" And then her next line is, "Because I'm gay, and that's why." And he goes, "Well, explain to me." Yeah, here it is. Ready? This is American political discourse.
I know.
Trump or Biden?
Neither. I mean, Trump's the worst, but I also hate Biden, so
You don't like Trump?
obviously not.
Is there a reason why?
There's 1,000. I'm gay. I mean, he's the worst. I mean, there's 1,000 reasons why.
What are some of the bad things he did?
Are you kidding me right now?
What happened?
Okay, I'm done.
I was just curious. What are some of the bad things?
Okay, no, fuck that. I'm good.
This is it. This is American
Trump.
discourse. When asked to produce evidence or shown evidence, people, and this happens a lot on the left. I'm not saying it doesn't happen on the right, because, I mean, even though some people want to think I'm a conservative, I'm not. I'm a old school liberal to the bone, okay? But it's like when asked to give facts or shown facts, people retreat.
100%.
And you're allowed to in America because, let's face it, our bottom is still pretty good compared to other places. You know, when you hear Chris Rock talk about the ghettos of Africa, he goes, well, they're American ghettos, but if you took American ghettos, burnt them down and covered them in shit. That's the difference between a third world ghetto and an American ghetto.
Yeah. And
Well, I have something radical to say.
Oh, snaps.
I can't believe I'm gonna say it.
Okay, big moment here.
I'm older.
Big moment.
no.
Big
I know.
things.
I think at
What?
the end of the day, we might be. I think at the end of the day,
Say it.
God.
this might be the Old Testament redux. In other words, the Israelites were punished for worshiping false gods over and over again until God turned his back on them. And he said,
Wait, can you give it to me? Give me the long journey, please. Give me.
well, but
The
they
long
said,
journey.
Yeah.
But
Bilbo
we are
Baggins,
looking.
please.
We are looking for saviors in the wrong place. Biden, Trump, our political leaders, our entertainers, and all of that stuff is not where to look. And I do think maybe, Sam, we're back to the old fight of good versus evil. And
I thought you were going to say you're a conservative. I thought that's where you were
what
going
I thought
with
he was
this.
gonna say too.
I thought you were going to go, I'm a conservative.
no, I think I'm becoming religious, or I think I'm starting to realize that the lessons in our great mythologies, whether they're the Old Testament or the New Testament, whether they're in the Quran, the Upanishads, or in Buddhism, with Siddhartha Gautama.
But you know what, Brian?
At the end of the day, the
funny
truth
about
can
you
be found in these manuscripts.
is like, but you only go so far. You will only operate in the world of spirituality within accepted religious, formal religious constructs.
Well, so the religious construct I've been studying lately, which would be the Old Testament and the New Testament,
Yeah.
is so rich with wisdom.
But you
with wisdom.
believe in Satan, but not black magic.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't asked that question. I haven't asked that question, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm really wary of human beings trying to get themselves out of their own predicament. And every time I talk to an
okay. I
atheist,
like
every
that.
time I talk to an atheist, I feel like I'm in a hospital waiting room, and all they're offering me is they use words like the void, and abyss, extinction, and infinity.
Well, I also know that a lot of atheists have a big trauma in their life that
100%.
that rock their
100%.
world, and they can't come to grips with that. And listen, man, I have to walk very, very cautiously when I say this. Sometimes bad things happen to good people because there's a bigger thing going on. And it's not that
100%.
that God is evil or anything, but I mean, this is what I'm going to say. Sometimes people have come to this realm and have achieved their goal in life and what their purpose was for being here. And when that goal is done, it sometimes is time to move on to your next karmic lesson to be learned. So, I mean, that sounds crazy, but it is really, and it gets kind of into why bad things happen to good people.
Well, Sam, we've replaced the idea of God with the mob. See, the idea with God is like God knows, like the idea of God would be, he knows you're flawed, right? You're flawed. And there are things like forgiveness and redemption with God. And there are things like what you just said, karmic lessons. And so, like, we're given some leeway. But we've replaced that with the mob. We've replaced that, and the mob will keep you in line. The mob, whether it's Twitter or social media or the schools you're in or the community, the mob has a point of view. The mob has an opinion, and the mob demands nothing less than perfection. And if you fuck up even a little bit, if you say the wrong word, you will be erased. And that's what I think. And let me ask you, what is an atheist offering me in place of God? What is an atheist offering me? The blockchain? Gene editing? Huh? Nanotechnology? Robotics?
Yeah.
What?
The funny thing
Eternal
about
life?
Most of these atheists is they do have faith, and it's in science, and they blindly believe in it.
They also have faith in atheism. They're also religious about their atheism. They're also incredibly religious about
they
their
tend to
science.
have
and
either something traumatic happen to them, or they have a real dark secret that they don't want to believe there's going to be any karmic debt to. So,
I think you can be science. I think you can be a scientist and have respect for religion. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just going to say, although we human beings have our own personal life, we are yet in large measure the representatives, the victims, and the promoters.
Hey, you're not talking
did he
loud,
just say anything,
and you're not
or
speaking
did you
clearly.
just mumble?
I don't know. Hey,
Did you just
hey,
mumble?
mumbles. Hey,
Mumbles.
mumbles.
Well, I was going to say, although we human beings have our On personal lives, we are yet in large measure the representatives, the victims, and promoters of a collective spirit whose years are counted in centuries. That's what you guys are talking about. Can we talk about fucking microchips, please? I mean, you guys are going on this existential thing about God and
you're
your
right.
purpose.
All right, you're right. You're right.
I think this was a wonderful conversation that people are thirsty for.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, and I am figuring
I love it, buddy. I love that you're on a journey.
Yeah.
I think you have to start looking into, is it possible that there has been a concerted effort to separate humanity from God, and that a lot of these institutions that we look to for our understanding of God have been inserted to disconnect us from God?
Yeah.
And that a lot of stuff that people don't like about God are actually not God, but the actions of human beings.
So what's the story of the Bible? The story of the Bible is it's one example after another, starting with Adam and Eve, of people disobeying God and what happens as a result. It's one. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. One bite. There you go. Now you're ashamed of your nudity.
Or you get into, Bryan, or you get into the Gnostics version of everything, and that this is a false reality created by the demiurge, who is the first time, who is proof that feminists fuck everything up, okay?
Yeah.
Because Sophia is the female part of God. There's a male and female, and she wanted to create life without the male, create the demiurge, instantly regretted it, right?
Well, that would be Adam and Eve.
No.
The story of Adam and Eve is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that story.
Who ate the apple?
Yeah, but
who told
But
Adam
then
to
there's
do it?
this thought that the whole story isn't what we think it is.
Look, a girl broke up the band, man.
Yeah.
A girl broke up the band.
Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles, bro.
Yeah, I mean, pussy always causes chaos, right?
Thanks for wisdom, Satan.
Pussy's chaos. Dicks are order.
Pussy's
You need a
chaos,
combination.
Dicks are order. Here we go. Ready? So this is here we go. This is an interesting story. So we're gonna start. This is how it starts. Can you play it loud?
Yes, of course.
Here we go.
I put a microchip in my arm, and it's the best thing ever. This chip is a powerhouse. It's got everything I need. A credit card, my ID, my medical info, and even my keys. And when it's time for groceries, you just tap your wrist and bam! Transaction done. It's like magic. In a medical emergency, it can save my life. Experts can easily identify me and my medical history. I feel like a sci-fi character, and I'm loving it. This amazing chip is totally free. That's right, no more digging into your pocket. And the best part, the surgery is quick. They'll give you a cookie afterwards.
Holy shit.
Okay. So this is
The mark of the beast is here.
Now here's a follow-up video. Ready? Here we go. Turn up the sound.
The government has frozen my bank account, and it can freeze yours too. You have to listen to my story quick and fast because time is running out. A few days ago, I made a post on social media about a danger of having a chip implanted in my arm. I thought I was exercising my right to free speech. This morning, I woke up only to find that the video I posted was gone, and it was just the beginning of the nightmare. As I was trying to pay for my coffee, the microchip in my arm stopped working. I couldn't even pay for anything. And when I got back to my apartment, it locked me out too. Everything was in there, including my cat Misty. This is why I posted this video as a warning and a plea for help.
Is that in China? Or Australia? I mean, I think it's dramatized, but I love it. I love it. That is the danger of having everything.
Do you think that wasn't
in
real?
one chip. I don't think it was real, but I think it could be real. That's
What is your
point.
thoughts on that, Dylan?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it could
All
be.
right.
But it could be. But that is the danger of having a microchip put in your. You can be tracked. Do you know? We already can be tracked.
You thought that was real?
But
What?
Did you think that was real?
I didn't have.
You
an
know, if you
opinion
take your battery out of this, right?
Yeah.
That the government can still listen to you on your phone. Do you know that? Did you know that? Your phone could be dead, and you have no battery, and the government can still the NSA can still listen to you, and people don't know that. Everybody, privacy's dead.
Yeah.
Ring cameras are everywhere.
Well,
It's all
that
dead.
whole TikTok bill. But by the way, what's going on with that bill? That story just left the news, which makes me wonder how much of the internet. I mean, we've discussed the dead internet. That is just a giant Potemkin house, and You and I agreed on that a long time ago. But it's just like it's all just a giant fucking. It's just theater.
Yeah.
What about this non-binary actress who refused? She refused the award because there's no category for her.
Where's this?
She won Best Actress. She's nominated for Best Actress. She goes, no.
In what?
I'm not a female. I'm non-binary.
In what?
And
Where?
Some show, TV show she does.
Can you show us that, Dylan? This is where you pull something
there
up.
She is. Non-binary Broadway star rejects Tony Award consideration over gendered categories. Thanks.
That was pretty quick. Okay.
That wasn't quick.
It was pretty quick.
It was not. I had to sit there, take a couple breaths before I got to hear this stupid story. It's just dumb.
This is hilarious.
It's
So
just
is it a guy? I thought it was a gal.
That's a dude?
I guess not. And Juliet is abstaining from the nomination process in protest because some of the organization's titles are specific to men and women. Problematic categories, Sullivan suggested, include best performance by an actress in a leading role in a play and best performance by an actor in a leading role in a play. I see. So it's our problem then, huh? So it's all of us who identify as male and female because that's what mammalian biology talks about. And that's what it always has talked about, and it's a fact. So we are the problem. We are problematic, but you narcissist.
Yeah, I mean,
who has decided that you don't fit a category, which is its own category.
Here's what happens, right? This woman is a theater actress
man.
or actor.
It's not a woman.
Okay, or whatever it is.
Person.
Whatever it is, okay?
But wait, I thought there was a TV actress who is this way.
I'll look it up, but this is a wild thing. Sullivan said, I was told that I had to choose the category in which I felt comfortable, and in that process, I struggled a lot. So they gave them the choice,
I
and
know.
it was still.
But don't you understand?
Yeah,
don't
but
you
when
understand?
you go, who can I beat quicker? That's what I would ask.
Yeah, and this is your chance to be different and be oppressed.
Oh, you know who loved this? Her PR person.
It's how you get attention.
This is great.
It's how you get attention.
This is great.
Yeah.
Now everyone's going to be talking
The
about
award
you.
wasn't enough.
Such a slam dunk.
Yeah, the award wasn't enough. Now they need even more attention.
Listen.
It's fantastic.
Awards for acting are just ridiculous altogether. I'm sorry. Like if we take a look at most of the people doing the acting, it's rich kids, okay? All right.
I want to see how well
You're right. That TV thing
Yellow
was
Jacket star Liv Hewson won't even attempt to win an Emmy Award because there's no non-binary category. Yes! She's one of the main stars of the hit Showtime series. Nobody watches Showtime. About a girls' soccer team trapped in the woods after a plane crash. I'm sure she's very good. However, she won't allow herself to be submitted for an Emmy consideration due to the fact that there's only 2 gender categories. She identifies as non-binary since she was a teenager.
Long? What's her name?
What is not that?
What's her name?
Liv Hewson.
Liv Hewson. Hey, when society crumbles, how quickly is fucking Liv Hewson pregnant and cooking in the kitchen when fucking zombie apocalypses are everywhere?
Can I see what she looks like? She plays a girl, right? Because she is a girl.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's just like, again, it's like do whatever you want. And there's actually a part of me that in some weird way doesn't care. I want the whole Hollywood thing just crashing and burning. It's like unbelievable. And like, I love that like non-binary is now coming code for fat, by the way. Is that right? I mean, that's really what's saying. I'm non-binary. You're saying you're chunky. That's what you're saying.
Well, it's my joke is it's what a Prius looks like if it was human. It's a shape, but I don't want to make fun of anybody's shape, you know.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm fat and I can make fun of my people.
I don't like making fun
I'm king of the fats.
Yeah, I don't like
I will lead a
making fun of
non-binary army to take over the world.
I feel bad about ever talking about somebody's physical appearance.
Well, Bryan, no disrespect to anybody. Yeah. No disrespect. But again, this gets into, is this just some natural story or is this her PR person putting out a story?
Both.
Okay.
But mostly
so it's
PR.
It's like, this is what she wants. She wants us talking about her.
This is a narcissist who just wants
If there's somebody who's just like, I just want to go work at Ralph's, leave me alone. I identify as non-binary. I'm not bothering anybody.
What people like this don't realize is they've calcified themselves in the ultimate category.
Yeah, now
all of us are like, oh God, here comes that person.
Rich kids playing make-believe. That's all we're doing right now. Rich kids playing make-believe. This isn't real world problem.
Rich kids playing make-believe. That's probably the best. That's rich kids playing make-believe. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end this. That's
No, we're not ending. Are we done?
No.
Can we just do one more story?
Sure.
You know what's not make believe?
What?
The Holocaust.
True.
Oh God, no, not that one. Can we do? Do you want to say the Fugees story till tomorrow? Because it's insane. Okay.
Kind
You
of.
could give us
All
a
right,
teaser.
fine.
You can give us a teaser.
Yeah, give us a teaser.
Well, basically, that one of the Fugees was found guilty in court of trying to fund $100 million from the Chinese government, and it basically leads to Barack Obama.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, it's crazy. And so the whole thing is like, Lauryn Hill is, I had a friend of mine who met her, says she wasn't a nice person. And, but she's kind of gone crazy with this whole thing that like people are out to get her and all that stuff. And now a guy in her band was an FBI informant. Like, it's crazy, right?
Damn. Yeah, she's
Convicted in court.
convicted of actually being a foreign actor for China.
Yep.
So that's really weird. So
And it leads to Barack
Fugees
Obama.
rapper Pras Michel was who funneled $800,000 to back Barack Obama's campaign in 2012, found guilty in scheme to help China influence U.S. government. Grammy Award-winning Fugees rapper Pras Michel was found guilty on Wednesday of 10 criminal counts related to an international conspiracy aimed at influencing the U.S. government. He's going to jail for a very long time.
Yeah, he should. That's
treason.
Fucking treason, dude.
It's treason.
That's treason, bro.
Yeah.
That is treason, man. And that's happening more and more. And the problem is, we got a rapper going to jail. Well, did you ever find that Swindell clip I wanted? That is so hilarious.
Who's Swindell?
Who is the guy? The guy who hooked up with the Chinese spy?
Oh, no, I did not. I apologize.
Okay. It was so funny, dude. You can find it real quick. But you don't
Well,
have to.
rich kids playing make-believe.
Let's end on this. Let's play this. Do you know who was a Holocaust denier?
Who?
Ronald Reagan.
Hold on.
There is absolutely no record that 6 million people were put in concentration camps. They only have 16 million to begin with.
Oh, man.
This
Start
is
from the beginning.
This is taken out of context.
No, it's a debate.
What a yucky thing to say.
I challenge your history again. There is absolutely no record that 6 million people were put in concentration camps. They only have 16 million to begin with.
Guys, this is Conspiracy Social Club. Go to samtripoli.com for all of your needs. Brian Callen, where they want your
See you
tickets.
in Port Charlotte. I'm a little flabbergasted right now. I got to look
Crazy
into
thing to
that.
say.
All right, take care. Have a great day. When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes.
Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic.
I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell.
Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken and snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters.